On a crisp autumn day, we gather ingredients to make a comforting dish, pasta with pumpkin. The cool breeze carries the scent of fallen leaves, and the vibrant colors of autumn are all around us. Our outdoor kitchen is set up in the village garden, where pumpkins and other vegetables grow in abundance, ready to be harvested for today's meal. The rich, golden pumpkin sits on the counter, ready to be transformed into a delicious sauce. This pumpkin has been growing all summer in our garden, cared for with love and patience. Now it's time for it to shine in a warm, seasonal dish that will nourish our family. We start by peeling and cubing the pumpkin, its bright orange flesh glowing under the kitchen light. The sound of chopping fills the air as we carefully prepare each piece, knowing that these simple ingredients will turn into something extraordinary. In our outdoor kitchen, surrounded by the sights and sounds of the village, the process feels meditative and peaceful. A large pot of water is set to boil, preparing the base for our pasta. The bubbling water brings warmth to the cool autumn air, and as we wait for it to boil, we take a moment to appreciate the stillness of the countryside around us. It's a reminder of why we love living here, close to nature and far from the hustle of the city. While the water heats up, we sauté finely chopped onions and garlic in olive oil until fragrant. The sizzle of the onions and garlic fills the air, mixing with the scent of fresh herbs from our garden. It's one of those simple joys, cooking outside, surrounded by the land that provides for us. The cubed pumpkin is added to the pan, softening slowly as it absorbs the flavors. As the pumpkin cooks, it begins to break down, becoming tender and fragrant. Each stir of the wooden spoon reminds us of the generations that have cooked this way before us, with fresh ingredients and care. A sprinkle of salt, pepper, and nutmeg brings out the warmth of the autumn season. These spices, grown and dried by our family, add a touch of depth and comfort to the dish. The nutmeg, especially, enhances the natural sweetness of the pumpkin, creating a perfectly balanced flavor. We pour in a little vegetable broth, letting the pumpkin simmer until tender and slightly creamy. As it simmers, we check on the animals in our yard, our chickens pecking around, the goats lazily grazing in the field. It's a slow and deliberate process, much like our life here in the village. As the pumpkin cooks, the water in the pot begins to boil, and we add our pasta. The steam rises in the cool air, and the sight of the pasta slowly softening brings a sense of anticipation. Soon, this simple mixture of ingredients will come together in a meal full of flavor and nourishment. We stir the pasta occasionally, ensuring it cooks evenly to a perfect al dente. Each stir feels like a connection to our past and our traditions. Pasta making and cooking have been a part of village life for centuries, and today we honor that tradition. Once the pumpkin is fully cooked, we mash it slightly, creating a velvety, smooth sauce. The rich orange sauce contrasts beautifully with the pasta, making our outdoor kitchen table look as inviting as the food itself. It's a sauce that speaks of the harvest season, a time to enjoy the bounty of the land. A handful of grated Parmesan is stirred in, melting into the pumpkin and giving it a rich, savory flavor. The cheese adds a depth of flavor that pairs beautifully with the sweetness of the pumpkin, making the dish both comforting and satisfying. It's the perfect combination for a cool autumn evening. The cooked pasta is drained and added to the pumpkin sauce, coating each strand with the creamy mixture. As we toss the pasta in the sauce, it glistens under the fading light of the afternoon. The simple beauty of homemade food, prepared with love and care, never fails to make us smile. We toss everything together, making sure the sauce evenly covers the pasta. The sight of the golden pasta twirling in the sauce is mouth-watering, and we can't wait to sit down and enjoy it. Every bite will be a taste of the season, a reminder of the autumn harvest and the hard work that brought it to our table. For extra texture, we toast some pine nuts and scatter them on top of the dish. The crunch of the pine nuts adds a delightful contrast to the creamy sauce, and their nutty flavor complements the pumpkin perfectly. These little details elevate the dish and make it feel special. Fresh sage leaves are fried in butter, crisping up to garnish the pasta with an earthy crunch. The sage, grown in our herb garden, has an intense, earthy flavor that perfectly complements the richness of the dish. The sizzling sound of the leaves frying is the final touch, signaling that the dish is nearly ready. The final touch is a drizzle of olive oil and an extra grating of Parmesan cheese. The olive oil, pressed from the olives we harvested last year, adds a fruity richness that completes the dish. The extra Parmesan gives a savory kick, making each bite even more irresistible. The pasta with pumpkin is served hot, the aroma filling the room with the cozy scent of autumn. We gather around the outdoor table, the evening chill kept at bay by the warmth of the dish. The combination of flavors, the richness of the pumpkin and cheese, and the crunch of pine nuts create a perfect harmony in every bite. Each bite is a perfect balance of creamy pumpkin, savory cheese, and the warmth of herbs. The textures, smooth sauce, firm pasta, and crunchy toppings, play off one another beautifully. We savor each mouthful, knowing that the meal was made entirely from ingredients grown and harvested by us. We sit down with our bowls, savoring the comforting flavors of the season, a true taste of autumn. The setting sun bathes the village in a golden light, and the sounds of the countryside, birds chirping, a distant rooster crowing, add to the peaceful atmosphere. There's something deeply satisfying about sharing a meal that reflects the beauty and bounty of the season. Paired with a glass of apple cider or warm tea, this meal becomes an unforgettable fall delight. As we sip on our cider, made from apples picked from our orchard, we feel a deep connection to the land and to each other. This is more than just a meal, it's a celebration of the harvest, the season, and the life we've built here in our village.